everybody, thank you for joining us again for one of our video tutorials. This time I'm going to show you a really simple little trick for a jogless join when you are knitting circularly. You know that annoying little blip that you sometimes get here with the little gap that looks a little bit bumpy? We are going to get rid of that with a really simple little trick. So I've gone ahead and I've cast it on a few stitches on a circular needle here, and I've cast it on using our super simple, super stretchy cast on, which you can find amongst our video uploads here on YouTube. And the very first stitch of that cast on is a slip knot, which leaves a little bumpy sort of blip right here at the beginning of your stitches. So one of the little ways that I get rid of the jog on this little technique is I undo that very first stitch, and I literally, it looks scary, but I pop it right off the needle and I undo that little slip knot. Okay, sometimes it's a little tricky to undo depending on the yarn you're using, but I actually pop the stitch right out. Okay, so I'm left with this big little, sorry, that's an oxymoron, isn't it? This big loop here, and it looks sort of unsightly, but we're going to fix that in a sec. So I've gotten rid of that lumpy slip knot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little loop and I'm going to twist it down towards the floor, and I'm going to, just as it is right there, I'm going to put it on the needle, put it back on the needle. And we are going to still call that our first stitch, but the giant lumpy slip knot is gone. Okay, so it's back on the needle. I'm now going to start knitting in the round just as I normally would, making sure I'm knitting with my ball of yarn and not the tail. Okay, so, and you want to make sure your first maybe two, actually I would say 3 stitches that you knit are nice and tight. Okay, that's really going to help keep that join tight and closed. Okay, so just for example's sake, I'm just going to knit a few stitches here. I've done 4 stitches, and I'm going to show you how I would then hide this little gap here. Okay, so I put my needles down for a second, and I'm going to thread my tail onto a wool needle like that, and I'm going to pick up my work and I'm going to take my wool needle and I'm going to stick it down between stitches 1 and 2. Okay, here was our last stitch of our cast on. Here's the actual gap, the join. Here's stitch 1. So I'm going to take my hand sewing needle and my yarn, my tail, and I'm going to stick it down right up at the needle, down between stitches 1 and stitch 2. Okay, and as you can see, that mimics the cast on loops and gets rid of the little step at the join. And I would have probably waited and done this maybe on rounds 3 or 4, so I had a little bit more knitting to work with before I did it, but just like I say, for example's sake, I did it right away. And then I would take my tail and I would weave it through at the back of my work here. But this gives you the most beautiful, smooth little edge. Okay, so that is a very simple jogless join for circular. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe so you catch our new videos when we upload them, and have a great day. Bye.